So, as a professional sorcerer, magician, winner, champion, rich person,
We're
how
trying
how are you starting your new year?
by being all of those things
Woo!
and by wanting more. That's the thing. It's especially when it comes to the magic world. It's the era of demanding and more and taking it at this point.
How hard is it to get successful now?
Honestly, it's easier than it's ever been. Like that's the
I-
thing. Your competition is so shit by comparison that all you need is like one halfway decent idea, a platform, and the knowledge of how to make the right enemies, and you're good.
So, by the way, everyone watching, listening, it's your favorite opinionated, legendary Amerislav here at Rich and Hydrated Podcast. When I say rich and hydrated, we all do hydrate because we can be rich because raisins don't get rich.
Mm.
And self care makes you a millionaire. And today with us, we have our professional sorcerer, magician, winner, champion, ruthless. I need something in reference to your like the blood that goes to your veins, like overcoming of enemies, drinking. I don't know, something cool. We'll get to that.
Let's figure that out. Yeah.
But no, it's again, it's when people say like it's so competitive out there. I'm like, no, it's not. You just have to show up. Like the competition is in hell.
I was gonna say that the competition is here. If you were going to compare everyone having the I'm going to do this tomorrow or I'm going to do this next year or I'm going to do this next month, yeah, I mean it's swarmed. But if you're actually someone who puts stuff into practice, all of a sudden you find the room is pretty fucking empty in a lot of industries.
And the room that's after that is really much full with people that aren't your competition.
Oh yeah, no, I've noticed that too. Once you reach a certain point, people are helpful as fuck. They want you to succeed. I mean, shit, I'm helpful as fuck to other people who are coming into my industry because I want them to succeed because it's, in my opinion, best gig I ever had. But as a whole, it's not that difficult. It's actually kind of funny. I have a student of mine who's breaking into magic for hire, and I'm telling her all the time, this, believe me, this took me, that long to get good at, to get successful at, because you're putting it out there. And again, the key is making the right enemies. I honestly believe that at this point. I
Say
mean, yeah,
more.
having the right friends is good, but like you have to stand up and cast a shadow to be anything. And the thing is, if you try to play it safe and play right in the middle, you're going to get right in the middle results. And if you are willing to hate publicly and be hated, you're better off. And the thing is, strategically picking the ones to hate you is the key. Like for me, the people who hate me are people who suck at magic. That's the thing, because if you don't hate me, that means you don't suck. But if you want to not suck, you want to buy my classes, right? Like that's it all kind of stages together, and I provide the education I say I provide. So there we go. But the thing is, some people will be like, I hate, I don't know, the patriarchy or the system, or I don't know, people whose name begins with J. Like, it's this like arbitrary, I hate this ephemeral thing. I hate what I'm not. I hate what I worked my whole life not to be.
Give me an example.
Frail, because weakness is a
Weak.
choice. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yes.
but I mean, people who suck at magic, people who will sit there and opine about mysticism, or their amazing spiritual experiences that are frankly a dime a dozen, and 60% of which are hallucinations and not real. Some of which are very real, by the way. Like anybody who says they're not is a fool.
Are
But
are you confirming my statement that 90% of the occult is just mentally ill and not actually doing sorcery?
I would say more like 70.
Okay, fair.
But at the same time, it's actually become a lot easier to get access to the right tech these days. So people are by and large getting more stuff. It's like I tell people all the time, like, back when I was a kid, if you were to say people don't actually throw curses that much, you might have been right. But now they actually do all the time. And some of them are decent. So that's why you need to, scale your way up. But at the same time, a lot of people they would rather have really vivid daydreams and drug-induced hallucinations than like do a spell that gets them, a better source of income, or do an energetic practice that lets you lift 15% more weight at the gym. something that will let you actually see progress, actually see proof of concept. Because the problem is, and I honestly think this, people are afraid of relinquishing victimhood to sorcery.
Okay, wait, let me say exactly that phrase again.
People are afraid of relinquishing victimhood to sorcery.
Do you think that is, I have theory, because let's preface, sorcery equals power.
Yeah.
And power can be translated into control, can be translated many things, but control is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is the thing, I have this theory, and I wrote about this recently, where like people who, dwell in that like victim narrative, they are so power hungry, because as the victim, you have the power to the story. You dictate how others respond to you. You constantly elicit and conjure emotions, and therefore, again, right, and perception. And victims always want more of that, more, right? So it's extremely power hungry. Whereas when you start winning, you have to let go of the victim, and even so become a villain for yourself and towards others, right? Because as the winner, unless you're also a winner, the rest of the world will try to diminish your accomplishments, what you had to do, your hustle and grind, because the victims hold the narrative. So, oh no, he got that because he was lucky. Oh, he got that because his parents were rich. Oh, he got that because he was white, American, whatever the fuck, right? But as a victim, victims are power hungry, and letting go of that power. Talk about fucking power corrupts 100%, because you have to let go of that corruption.
No, truly, I can agree with you there, and especially when it comes to magic. Because that's the thing, if you're already willing to accept that magic is real, and it is, you're willing to accept that it is a skill that can change your life. You accept that, one, your life isn't where you want it to be, and two, that you can change things. But again, you look at most of the occult community, and you see a bunch of people complaining about a world that they could enchant to change if they just worked harder. Because you can ask them, like, okay, well, what have you done to fix it? Not just mundanely, but magically. Because yes, of course, doing the mundane work, that's obviously a thing. I don't need to belabor that point, because everyone who's in the game knows that you have to do the work too. But they're like, okay, well, I'm trying to lose weight. Okay, well, are you dieting? Yep. Are you exercising? Yep. And it's still not working quite the way you want? Nope. Okay, cool. Are you doing Mars invocations? Are you doing vital energy practice while you're lifting? Are you, feeding your excess adipose tissue to the Akashic Void energy? Are you doing any of these practices that, by the way, have antecedents or precedents for like 2,000 years? If you read like yogic texts, they'll tell you how to do this. You read Taoist texts, they'll tell you how to do this. They exist. But they're like, well, no. And I'm like, right, so you like the aesthetic. You're a witch on TikTok, but you're not doing the thing to make your life better. And that's the thing. It's almost like the final stage in losing that victimhood is accepting that magic is really, really real for real, and that the powers it confers are objectively real for real, and you can wield them. But to do that, you need to fully accept that you don't get to have any excuses ever the fuck again.
It's the one thing that it conjures when you talk about like changing the world, right? I used to teach at, I don't want to do names because that's just going to end up ugly. I used to teach at several occult retreats, East Coast. Let's keep it nice and vague. Mm-hmm. And I used to always teach about money. And I remember the first time when I taught, which was like, I don't know, 2017, victimhood wasn't as prevalent as it became later after years, right? It started like snowballing. So everyone was like game. To a point where in 2021, when I was teaching, because I was teaching like 5 times a year there, it was like, everyone, fuck man, fuck patriarchy, fuck all these like big terms, right? And I want to change it. I'm like, let me be the only one here who asks these questions. Who here has tried to change something about themselves that they didn't succeed in, but they would still like to change? Everyone raises their hand. I'm like, who here found that extremely hard? Hands keeps up. I'm like, and you mean to tell me that you have the power to change the world? You can't even change yourself. There's one thing that you've been trying to change. You don't have the power to do that, but you think you're going to change the world? let me just type out verbal laughter. Ha ha ha.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing. I mean, people. So the thing I've seen a lot with people is when they shoot for those pie in the sky, change the world, be better goals. It's because one, they don't have a life that they're happy with. Because every person I know, with no exceptions,
No exception.
who has given themselves a life that they love, or that they're at least beginning to love, continues along that I'm going to save the world path in any kind of earnest way, because they realize that they're like, my life's pretty good. The world actually isn't that bad. See, I have this theory that there are many worlds, but I always call it the two world theory. You take a guy, 5'4", receding chin, ugly, weird, autistic dude. And you take another guy who's exactly the same. One of them has a successful career as a YouTuber, has fun, goes on adventures, doesn't take himself too seriously, works hard, understands that he may have limitations, that he may need to work harder than other people to overcome, but he still gives it his best, ends up having a good life. The other one, absolutely miserable every day in every way, makes every excuse for what other people have. And one of the biggest things it comes down to is it's either good for them or fuck them. Like if a person goes, yeah, I can only afford, a 2017 beat up Chevy pickup, and that guy's got a King Ranch. It's like, well, some people are like, good for him, man. Good for him. I want to be in that car or truck just like that soon. The other guy's like, fuck him. I hate that motherfucker. But it keeps you pulled down, because if you can cling to this the cage, it's not even like silver handcuffs, it's like copper handcuffs of where you are, it becomes so much easier to bitch about things that are so ephemerally large compared to you, because then it becomes this same level of the victimhood prison where you can't win. You can't beat the system. You as an individual person, no matter how magically powerful or personally powerful or brilliant, cannot change billions of people. Can't change like entrenched structures. That moves at a glacial pace if it moves at all. But if you're like, that's my enemy, well, then it makes you heroic without having to earn it. It makes you a hero by proxy.
Just by having the idea.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the Victim Olympics, when they all march together. We're all like, women against patriarchy, queers against Palestine. And when they're like, right, so y'all are fighting.
The queers against Palestine thing always kills me, because it's like you're defending people who would throw you off a rooftop.
I mean, see, yes. And I'm like, you know what? I love that we live in a nation that you're so free that you get to vouch for the person that would kill you without being killed.
Now there's that factor. But so, you have people who, again, they want to be heroic by proxy, excellent by proxy. And then you have the person who goes, you know what, things may be harder for me right now, but I'm gonna get up and keep going and keep trying. Because the thing is, all those people who keep up and keep going and keep trying, they wouldn't continue if it wasn't giving them something. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't continue if it wasn't providing some sort of victory to them. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I mean, you're right. Change yourself in your own world locus first, and then see how much influence you can exert. But I think another reason why a lot of people who do become successful don't swing for those pie in the sky ideals is they have a different standard of scope. They understand how big things really are. Because, once you make your first $100,000, you realize it's not that much money. Like people have this mythical, it's 6 figures, and you're like, okay. Can
we go there?
Yeah, we can go there.
Like I was talking with my mentor, so I did 206 yesterday. I did 206 last year, which it's not necessarily so impressive in money and numbers. It's impressive in the very little time that I spent working. So I have a whole like a roster. So I did 206K last year by working max 5 hours a week. So in that sense, I scaled because I doubled. So the year before that, I did 115K. Year before that, I did 145 year K. I worked a lot. The year after that, I did not work at all. 115K. So last year, 205, working 5 hours a day. So this year, it's all going to be like, okay, if I'm going to work like 20 hours a week, what can that bring me? Just as a test. I'm not even fucking attached to the results, right? Just as a test. But we were talking with my business mentor about this, how like back in the day, and And I want to say, especially for us from East Europe, like, most people make like what, $500, $200 where I'm from. So like 10K. Anyway, just 10K. Anyone. I thought once I hit 10K months, life is going to be solved. Zero challenges, zero bad moods, zero tiredness, zero peasant problems, zero human problems. I'll be so evolved. I might fucking float in the sky.
Well, that's the thing about the 10K months, right? Because when you look at it, it's like, okay, you got 10K months. What percentage of that are you putting away for taxes? Okay, so then maybe you got 7K. Then it's like, what's your rent? What are your bills? What are all these things? And let's say you live a relatively frugal life, and let's say it costs a cumulative $2,500 for everything. You don't have that much left over for fun shit, really. I mean, you do. Like, the thing is, if you're a single person and you're living below your means and reasonably, 10K a month is good. It's good money. But it's basically middle class money at this point. Like, it's essentially, you can have whatever you want as long as you don't try to have everything at the same time. Like,
that's a great fucking phrase.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can have nice things, but not perfect things. You can have, a project a year. You know what I mean? A real, like, yeah, I'm going to take up this hobby and I'm going to drop, 2K a month into learning how to shoot really well, or, doing whatever. And you can absolutely do that and come out, good. But people have this idea, and usually it's people who don't understand how money works, that, you make that 10K a month, you're the one that you get to keep all 10K, and you don't. But that's kind of the thing. So, you move up. Let's say you started to make 20K months. Okay, now you're more comfortable. You have double. But then there's the whole thing about, okay, well, still how much goes into the tax account that you can never touch, that you have to, bleed out of yourself to the IRS, who is more than happy to take its share, and it is, and it always will. Or, or what? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot higher you can go, but it's so hard for some people to breach that thing. And then once they do, in my experience, going from that like 10K up higher, that's easier. It's just scaling the stuff you've already known. And of course, there are different plateaus that people have that I haven't reached yet, that I intend to, that, obviously, like, the like a buddy of mine hit his first 500K year this year, and he had to work so hard to get it. But he's like, yeah, man, now I got to make that first million year. And that's like his next plateau and his next thing. But even then he said, like, yeah, man, at the same time, there is no life that's just on autopilot. The only life that's on autopilot is the life of a child whose parents actually give a shit.
Do you remember the whole like passive income scheme? Like the lie of passive income, that you just make this one thing. You just make it one time and it will just sell itself forever. That only applies if you have an active business on the side.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But passive income in of itself is not a thing.
No, yeah, not unless you're continually promoting it and in the eye.
Which doesn't make it passive.
Right.
The product itself may be passive, but the selling of it is never passive.
Right. Then you got to look at the fact that, and sometimes you got to update your product. Sometimes you got to put like new refreshes slapped on them and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a constant thing for sure. And, this is, of course, where people who don't know how to run a business should probably take the, 4 or 5 hours it takes to actually learn. Because all this stuff's out there. I mean, once you cut through all the scams and the this and that and the tricks, if you just look at the basic meat and potatoes of like how to market, how to run a business, which social medias to use, and you're consistent and you choose your audience and you choose who you want to buy your stuff and you market to them, the diligence is what matters. It's when people try to find, it's like in magic too. The one cool manifestation that'll make you shut the fuck up. No, it won't. Just sit there and train, do the ritual, do the thing, get up early, put on the goofy robe, walk in a circle, say the words, like whatever it is your system uses, actually do the thing. Don't necessarily sit there and go, and I'm not saying manifestation doesn't work. It works, but
not without work.
No, not without work, but also not without consistency. I mean, there are people who be like, my biggest thing with manifestation, right, is like, I like Joseph Murphy. I like the whole, like, these are techniques you need to do every time you do this.
I have to look up Joseph Murphy. Keep talking.
He wrote The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely goated text on manifestation.
Yes.
But
Yes.
one, he says that you got to keep doing it, but two, you gotta actively do these practices all the time. Where some people are like, I just become the kind of person who can have it, and it's like, what do you fucking mean by that? Oh, I just basically pretend I'm already there, and I'm like, unless you're remarkably psychically gifted, which some people are.
You're probably not, by the way.
Yeah, that's
not
not
you, but
yeah, but that's not going to work. But even then, you can train to be, but you got to want to train to be. But then you got people like Robert B. Stone, who wrote a bunch of books on psychic development, manifestation, psychic power stuff. That dude's life was proof of his success. I mean, he was everything.
What's his name?
Robert B. Stone. He's dead now. The thing is, though, people try to.
Oh, is he the Silva method?
He learned from the Silva method. And
okay.
Further. Yeah, but the thing is, people are a little bit spooked by him, because he teaches you how to do some spicy shit, in there, and he's like, well, sometimes you don't have to play fair, and he teaches you how to do that.
Realistic.
Mm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but generally, like, from a man who was remarkably successful in multiple businesses, multiple fields, died, I want to say, in the 1990s, worth a couple million.
Yeah, I'm looking at his books. I have just The Lazy Lady's Easy Diet is one of his books.
Yeah, no, he wrote a lot of things. They're not all. I'm not gonna lie, they're not all winners.
I love it. I mean, if you touch it, he clearly touched into a market.
Oh yeah, no, he did. I mean, he knew what he was doing. His books are written a little bit like that new Avatar Power advertising style.
Like a new cell. Oh my god.
Yeah. No,
if you do this, do you suffer of baldness? Do you suffer of shame every time a pretty woman looks at you? No longer for you anymore. Right now with this product, and buy one round and get two for free.
Yeah. No, he does a little bit. And my favorite one is he's like, it was something like, Johnny got dumped by Tanya, and he was really fucking sad. And so he took Tanya's scarf that she left there, and he entered his psychic palace, and he spent 30 minutes a day every day drawing her back to him. And within 2 months, they were together again. And I'm like, well, I mean, that is effective psychic ability used through use of sympathetic magic. But the way it is like, and now Johnny, he's with her, and he's just so happy. And gosh, golly darn, he's the man. And I'm like, damn, Robert B. Stone. Damn.
Damn,
out there, bro.
So fun.
But you know what? It fucking works. As silly as it's got like new Avatar power though. Like I'm always mad that it works because it's so fucking goofy, but I still use it sometimes.
I completely dropped the ball on that one. I have to pick it up again. I've been completely immersed in fucking trend surfing, which I still need you to get into. I'm reading it for the 4th time, and it's still like I'm reading it for the first time every time, even though I have the ideas. But it hits like a deeper layer. I just released a podcast today, actually. I recorded a few days ago talking about how I ascribe it to when the leftovers became a part of me politically. Because I've been always an angry person. And then, the left joined me. We're angry at everything together. I'm like, oh, that's fun because I've been angry all my life. Y'all come join me here. And then, they were angry at other stuff. I'm like, I'm still angry over here, but okay, bye. But how that resulted for me in craving that one overnight success. That because for me it was like I grew up too fast. I had to grow up too fast, right? I've been living on my own since I was 15. So I always wanted back to be that aspect that it feels like the world is taking care of me for once.
Right.
So constantly chasing that. Okay, but if I do this one thing, then the world will take care of me. So it's an immaturity. That's what it was. For me, at least.
Well, I noticed this too about people who want because really what it is people don't understand that you always have a job. You always have something you need to do. I have clients who want, me to summon them a man who will take care of them, who will retire them, who will do all this stuff. And I'm like, that's just training one job for another. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, ask any like courtesan from ancient times, or ask any woman who like is a successful gold digger, like for real. Mm-hmm. they'll tell you, like, and some of them will look at these women and go, "You're not ready for this job," like, because it's a job.
Mhm.
Even if that dude that I bring you with magic is the thing you want, you still got to keep him,
Mhm.
and that requires a level of effort.
Work.
That, you know, because again, the biggest thing I think that people want in general, and I see this with all sorts of people, is they want this feeling that, I guess an American equivalent that I've always associated with is the summer between your last year of high school and your first year of college or whatever's coming next. That summer is like one of the best summers of your life.
Tell me
Because-
more about that. Tell me all about that.
There's nothing you have to do. Everything's set up. You know what college you're going to. You know, you did your high school, so that's done. Unless you have something special to do, like you have an athletic scholarship or whatever, there's nothing you got to do. Maybe you're working part-time. I was working part-time during that summer. All you have to do is just exist. And you're grown, like you're 18, so you can do all the 18-year-old things. You know, you can go wherever you want, hang out with your friends at all hours of the day and night, do whatever you want to do. That 3-month period is one of the most free feeling, not truly free, but free feeling periods of your life, because
There's no responsibility.
no responsibility, but nothing is required of you.
Right.
Like, that was the biggest thing. It's like you could just do whatever the fuck you wanted, good, bad, or indifferent.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
you
to
are-
add you on the Facebook, by the way.
On the Facebook.
Yeah, in my life, because we're live streaming on the Facebook, but your name is typed so retarded.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh wait, you came up for a second. There we go.
Oh wow, okay.
Your
I
name is typed so retarded.
like the way I type my name. But I like it because it bugs all my multilingual friends because they pronounce it with all the diacriticals in their head the way it's supposed to, and they're like, "I hate you. That is some moon speak. Like, that's not your name." And I'm like, maybe it is. You don't know. But yeah. So in general, that's what I think a lot of people want, like that feeling, that associated, like, oh, if someone will just
such a good description.
Yeah, but if someone will just take care of me, that's what my life will be like. And no, it won't. And I noticed this because there are a lot of people who maybe they had really great parents, and their parents maybe were a little bit slow to discipline them or hold them to a standard, but generally, like, they treated them great. They gave them a lot of rope. They gave them a lot of stuff, and they just want someone to, like, give them that thing. And it's like, no, you're not a kid anymore. Like, I see this more with my female clients than my male clients, for sure. Although I have seen it with male clients, but they're like, I want someone to take care of me like my dad. Maybe your dad was your dad. Like, this man isn't your father. This man is your boyfriend, your husband, whatever. Like, you have duties to that you never had to your father, for obvious reasons. Like, but that's not the same thing. Like, you were valuable to your old man by virtue of existing. Like, he produced you in part. So of course, like, this dude, not the same thing. There's like just like, for example, I've seen some guys I know who are just absolutely ambitionless, just drifting in life. They want to do the bare minimum possible to get by and then have the most amount of ease, I suppose, but not real freedom. Because they'll associate it with, like, oh yeah, I'm free to do whatever I want. And I'm like, no, I am.
Right.
I work for myself. I can choose to say not take clients for a month and go off and fuck off and do whatever I want to, if I wanted to, you know, and then my quality of life would not change, but I also wouldn't make any money that month. So obviously there's you know, a balancing act you got to do. But these people, a lot of people, again, they want to just be forever teenagers. And, like, there's a part of me that, like, I get it because I remember that feeling. But the thing is, that feeling is only that feeling because you have the rest of your life to look forward to.
And the contrast of it.
Yeah.
When I was 31, I semi-retired, and I did the, like, hey, when you retire, you should, like, you know, chill on a beach with a cocktail. And after day 2, I was ready to fucking go fucking crazy. Like, I might end up in a fucking mental asylum. So I'm walking around the beach, right? And I'm like, that could be solved. Those umbrellas need to be better. Oh, the sand is stuck there. They should have a mat for that. Why don't they have a mat for that? Like, that's just how my brain works.
You are the consummate Capricorn. There has never been a more Capricorn who has ever existed.
Oh my god, too fucking funny. So yeah, so I think the retirement, do nothing, and live like a teenager is for people who, for one, for weak people, and for two, it's for people who don't have any aspirations or ambitions, nor do they understand the context of the world. Like, because it always goes hand in hand with some level of poverty and therefore brokenness. You want to, the more money you have, the more free you are.
That's true.
When you live, when you have, I don't know, you make 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and you tell me like, oh, I'm so fucking free. I can do whatever I want. No, the fuck you can't. You can do whatever you want within that fucking tiny limited scope of financial ability that you have. You don't have the opportunity or the chance to buy a Lambo tomorrow and go drive around in it. No, but I don't want that. Of course you have to tell me you don't want that, because if you would have to be honest with yourself, you would have to admit that you don't have the choice even, which would elicit disappointment.
Well, I think that's a reality, because I mean, obviously money is power, magic is power, agency in general, like all the things you can use to your advantage to get the world to bend to what you want are power. I mean, and the more money a person makes, for example, you realize it. Like, for example, I hire maids to clean my home because the first time I did it, I was so weird about it. I like actually half cleaned up before they got there, and they were like,
"This is real. Talk more about this. Talk more about this."
They were like, "This is your first time hiring maids, huh?" And I'm like, yeah, you know, I just didn't want you guys to be grossed out or whatever. They're like, first of all, we see things you wouldn't believe, and I'm sure they do. They're like, sir, we get paid by the hour. You just like you did more. You did stuff you didn't need to do. But after that first time, they cleaned my house better than I could because they're professionals. That's what they do. And I was walking around my freshly cleaned, like, bathroom felt like it was brand new. Kitchen felt like no one had ever used it, kind of thing. And I was like, I saved myself this many hours. I cost this much per hour. I potentially made this much money.
And how much energy did I get infused with by being surrounded by this clean and pristine environment that directly energizes me?
But it's also a realization where you're like, I had to make a phone call and this just appeared. And the money came out of my bank account and I just like, yeah, that wasn't that much money. It just appears in your life. Mm-hmm. It's in a way not so different than magic, right? Like when you're like, I summon the spirit, it does a thing and the thing happens. But on top of that, see, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about the fact that I need to get the maids in again, actually. What was I going to say? Fuck. Work harder. Make it work. All right. So I remember now. So the whole thing about agency is like when you realize that the more power you gain, the more you can just have. It's true because when you don't have that ability, it's almost like your brain has a self-defense mechanism where it's like, no, I don't really want that. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe you don't. Like, for example, I don't want a Lambo. I have no desire for that. I do want a Ford Velociraptor super truck, which is like the truck equivalent.
Right. So this is the thing. Like the Lambo is a numerical.
No, sure. I understand what you mean.
Standard.
Right. But like that's the thing. But even if you could say to yourself, honestly, I don't want that thing, you want something
of that
caliber, regardless of what it is. You know, maybe it's not even a vehicle.
Maybe you want a wrench. Maybe you want an excavator, a big one, not a mini one. Like,
right, whatever. Or maybe you want a whole shit ton of things. It's one of the reasons why I really like. There's this practice called Bankston image cycling, and one of the biggest initial practices is you have to write down a list of 20 material items or experiences that you want selfishly just for you, and they have to be big. And people struggle pushing through that because we as a species suck at wanting. Like we really do. You know, we're taught to wear failure and humility like a crown, and we oughtn't. Like that is statecraft. That is done to you so that you don't want more, because the children of rich and successful people are told everything you want is good and you should have it. The children of magical people are told everything you want is good and you should have it. Like regardless, it should be yours. It will be yours. It must be yours. It's self-evident that it will be yours. You know, most people don't get that. They don't get that push. And so they walk around like, oh well, I don't want this, I don't want that. And the fact is, this is actually something a business mentor of mine told me. If you aren't honest with the shit you want, when, not if, but when you reach that level, you become the person who squanders it all. Because finally you can have it and you go crazy. I mean, there's so many stories of people who finally make their money and they lose it all because they go nuts, because they went from, no, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. Holy shit, now I have everything, now I'm going to get everything. Whereas if they go, okay, when I get what I want, this is how I'm going to do it. Then they don't succumb to their inner foolishness and reach out and squander everything they've built. It's kind of the same with from a sorceress context. It's not that hard to think about how many magicians, especially if you're like in the scene, so to speak, who had shit magic and shit magic and shit magic, and they're 40 and they get their hands on something real, and then within 6 months they've left their wife and kids and are now married to a 20-year-old stripper in Vegas. I do not have enough fingers on both hands to count the number of people that I have known who have done this. First name basis, knew them to see them. Like it's you gotta be aligned with that sort of growth on a personal level, or else if you get it, it's going to destroy you. But that comes from learning how to want.
You're gonna do a 67-month this year, by the way.
I mean, hey, I hope that would fucking crush.
No, it wouldn't crush that much. You're gonna do a 60. I've seen it already.
Hey, I happily accept that in. I happily accept that in.
There's this exercise that I'm trying to think who originated it. I'm not sure. I know Carolyn Elliott in one of her super old courses used to do it, but it might be from one of those like, Secret Millionaire. So I don't know where it came from. So let me say with like Elliott, she made you write down every day for like, I don't know, several weeks. You had to spend on paper, like right in theory, $1 million every day. You do not get to give it away. You do not get to spend it on others. You do not get to like invest or something. So otherwise it's easy, right? I just put 1 million in stocks. So you had to spend it. And it was one of those things where I'm like, at day 2, I'm like, I'm fucking lost, people. I've like, no, like.
So is it $1 million a day? Like you start over as your current self, or you have to spend it stacking on the million that you spent the next day and the next
just
day?
On just who you are right now, on all the things you would want. So, so I mean, you have to spend the $1 million. So you cannot just like say, I'm gonna pause 10 days and then buy a $10 million ranch. You have to spend $1 million every day. So like on day 1, I go, Lamborghini is 360, Lamborghini Mini X, Denali 120, right? Whatever. I'm just going at it, and I'm like already getting stuck at like 600, 700. Second day, I'm like, shit. I have the stuff from yesterday, so I can't do that again. Right? So like, now what? Okay, I'm going to buy another ranch. I'm just going to buy some property, which is already like borderline. I'm trying to like walk on the edges of the rules, right? Because I'm investing, but kind of not.
My ass would end up being like, I'm going to hire Blackwater and I'm going to fuck up this particular country for the sake of it. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Of course. You need to incorporate, you need to do the exercise for yourself and give it your own spin and see what it takes you and what it brings you.
Oh shit! I think I might have to. That would be something.
Yeah, because at day 2, like so on day 2, so everyone again on day 1 you do the big expenses. Let's even say like on day 1 you do a ranch. A ranch for $1 million is a really fucking tiny ranch, right? Like it's very fucking bare minimum. But let's say okay, we have a ranch. Second day you do all the vehicles and all the equipment. Day 3 you're like, okay, now I'm getting into like the small stuff: horses, clothing, accessories.
Yeah, I don't know that I could make it a full month. No, I could probably make it a week.
Sure,
I can make it
just a great. It's a great exercise of wanting.
I could make it 2 weeks if I was allowed to hire like private security to fuck up people and things I don't like.
So I would say I think it would be like no services in that sense.
No service. Okay, well then, I might be able to make it a week. I might.
It's. Again, please go experiment with it.
I'll try. I'll do it. I'll do my best.
Because it's just like, because we have this abstract relationship to wanting, always wanting more, wanting more. But when you actually have to want more, you're like, this is kind of hard. I don't really want a lot at all. And
Yeah,
it's
no,
actually
no.
relief.
No, a lot of people don't. That's one of the reasons why I like the image cycling exercise so much, because again, like when you do the image cycling practice, it is one of the most effective manifestation practices that I've ever seen, and it works, and I do it all the time. And it does bring you these things. Like it brings you the items that you want, not always at the same time and not always very quickly, depending on how big the item is and where you're starting. But I've noticed the people who are really good at it, like some of the people who are like, who've been doing it forever, they not only do they have lives that definitely mark that they're successful at this, but they are so good at being attuned with themselves in this like sense of like weird inner peace from just succeeding so many times that because I mean, like again, they'll do it every day. They'll rewrite their 20 point, and sometimes it's more, list every morning. Like, what are the 20 things I want today? And I mean, they're just like, they're machines with it. And again, they're so pleased with themselves.
That's so good. I wonder, because I'm nowhere in, like, I'm good at creating world and life, but I'm not, I could absolutely do better. But I have one thing, like, I've always journaled since I was like 12. Like, I have hundreds of journals. I still have all of them, right? And since age 15, age maybe 17, since The Secret came out,
Okay.
believe it or not, in the back of my journal, I keep a list of the things I want to experience, have, do, get, buy, see. And I usually start the year with making 101 things on that list, which I rarely even manage. Where you get into like, first you think like, okay, 10K month, then it's like 20K month. 30, like you can make all those, and then you have like, oh, there's like 6 things. But again, 100 things is fairly hard. And then you get like into small stuff, like I want a new Christmas tree, which is like you kind of know that's going to happen regardless, but putting it on the list, and then you kind of forget about it the rest of the year, and then usually halfway you're like, oh, let me take the list. It's done, 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 done. There's like two things that I've had on my list since I was 17, which is doing the full split, which I still can't, regardless of how much I train. It's just like my hips are probably not made for that. But that keeps being on the list. But everything else almost done, or on the way to done. I don't have a $17 million ranch yet.
Oh, you will. You will. No, the fucking Amerislav Ranch will occur. There will be carps in bathtubs in the ranch. It'll occur.
Oh my god, I love that you said that.
Listen, you know it, I know it, everyone knows it, God is aware of it, and he can't stop it.
Oh,
like, you know, we got to have our libertarian bathtub carps in this situation.
For the people who are listening, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So where I'm from, Czech Republic, I want to say it's in more countries than just Czech Republic. So we eat carp, fish, the poor person fish, carp. We eat for Christmas, and around Christmas, like 2 weeks before Christmas, the whole streets will be closed off, and there'll be these big, what do you call them, like tubs, bins with swimming living carps, and you'll kind of go like, you have like a little sensing. You go like, oh, I want that one, and you take that one alive, and you fill your bathtub at home, and you let the fish swim for a week, 2 week, whatever long, to swim itself clean. That's what it is. So you clean the water daily. But that also means that during those weeks, no one can really use the bathtub like properly. So we will still shower, but then we put the carp in a little, like a smaller bathtub, shower, everyone showers quickly, everyone gets 3 minutes back to back, and then we refill the water for the carp. And then we eat the carp for Christmas. You hear the tuck, and you know the neck is off.
See, here's the thing though. In the future Amerislav Ranch, there will be a gilded bathtub just for the carp. It'll be on a special room. It'll be the carp room. It'll only open up on Christmas.
Yes.
Listen, this is how you win. You take like the poorest tradition of your people and you fucking bling it out. That's how you win.
I need to make that's so good. Oh my god. Yes. Okay, I made a note of it. That's so fucking fun. That's so real. So good. So real.
That's how it has to happen. There's no stopping it. Like I said, God hides in heaven because he knows he can't stop it.
Oh my
Like, that's just the truth. That's just the truth.
Alex, listen to me. You are like a walking portal of the most based memes, the
True.
funniest fucking phrases, the most smart, oddly motivational quotes,
That's how
and
I
you
do it.
don't use them enough. Like it's like being a really really pretty person but hiding in complete isolation where no one sees you. I'm like it's a disservice to what you are to not expose it more.
No, this is true. I do need to get my face out there more this year. That's going to be a goal. That's going to be a goal this year, is to get more active with that.
With your quotes, with your funny shit.
I mean, look,
At least start with that.
it'll certainly be helpful. Like I said, it's definitely a goal. It's definitely something I got going on. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a hell of a 2026. I've already put wheels in motion for that. Because I mean, you got to keep going onward and upward. That's just the truth. But like, I will say, it will be interesting because I have the same feeling. So in 2020, I had this feeling. I'm like, we're gonna see who the real ones are and who they aren't. In so many ways, there are people like, how are you going to respond to the global pandemic propaganda? How are you going to respond to this? How are you going to respond to that? In Magic, like, who's going to get sick? Who won't? That kind of thing. I think 2026 feels the same for me for some reason, and I can't put my finger on why, but it feels like it's going to be a year where a lot of people are going to be shown to be those who couldn't do it.
Oh, that's interesting. So I have the feeling over this year that it's just going to make the base characteristics of people amplify. So I thought 2025 was the division where people going to make it or they're not. And I feel like losers are really going to get into their loserdom like even deeper, and winners are just going to fucking skyrocket, which isn't very opposing to what you said.
No, I mean, it does seem like that. What's interesting is I think more people are going to be called out for loser behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've noticed, right, is like you're starting to see a more egalitarian call out structure. Because, for a long time, it's like, oh, you're a man, lives with his parents, whatever, it's fucking loser. Your girl lives with her parents. Oh, well, it's okay. You're just trying to get your shit together. Now you're just seeing it's like, no, you're all fuck ups. Like, you're all fucking up. And the thing is, you have some people who go, yep, I did, and I'm going to get better. Cool.
Word, any day.
I got nothing but respect for people who are like, yep, I'm going to get better. And they're doing their thing. But you're starting to see a lot of people who are, just kind of getting called out for just not making it work. I mean, I people who like rely on, their parents for paying their bills and everything into like their late 30s. I know more than a few of those peripheral to my life. And now you're just starting to see people just get fed up with it. Like, I do think there's going to be a greater bifurcation in success versus failure in pretty much every industry, but particularly my own. I can sense that coming. Because in my industry, people are done. Like, I was talking to my business partner, Allison, about this. The age of the influencer seems to be waning, and the age of the expert seems to be growing, particularly in my industry, because it's like people don't have time for another class on decolonizing your whatever. They're like, I need magic that gives me something right now.
Mm-hmm.
I need this to work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have time time, resources, patience, sanity left to dance between the raindrops and the like, let's do things that make us feel good. They're like, I need to do something that makes me be good. makes me be effective. So that's what I see a lot of, and frankly, I'm fucking here for it because
love it.
I'm tired of the shadow boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder. I'm bored with everything you say, and I will add to that. I think that the influencers who were entertainment for the sake of their aesthetic and their life, they're going to completely fall off, and the experts are going to become the full influencers because their influence is bettering yourself or some iteration of that.
Well, I mean, especially because there are certain skills, obviously I would say magic chiefly among them, that are going to become more important because, the world's becoming, given surveillance technology and globalism and things, like an open air prison. And being really free is going to be a lot harder to get to. Now, of course, the more money you have, the closer you get to that. You can buy anonymity, you can buy privacy. The more clever you are, the more manipulative and adroit or whatever. But magic seems to be one of the things that can get you through those doors. I tell people this all the time. If you're good, you can turn any no into a yes. And in business terms, that's worth everything. You can bring yourself wealth and clients and power and success. You can use magic to simply say, no, I won't do this, and make people not make you want to do this. Or make you have to do this. So I don't know. I see a lot more of that. I see people who are going to be pushing against, and you can see this in small ways. There are people, for example, who are going back and buying older technology because they're like, no, fuck it. I'm going to go buy this, hook up a PC, pirate a bunch of music and rip a bunch of CDs, because then I don't have to be a slave to Spotify, who can just take my music from me.
Right, because it's something you own, right? This is the subscription model where you don't own anything. Right. Even when you fucking like Amazon Prime is funny like that, where you can buy something, but it's still on the fucking cloud.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just have to delete my account accidentally, and I don't own this anymore.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. And I see this, and just the other day, this made me really happy. The other day, I was out for a hike, and I saw this kid. I mean, I say kid, he's probably 23, with an iPod.
Oh yeah,
like a fucking iPod. And I remember I loved my fucking iPod.
My
when I was in college, that shit, all my music. And I stopped him, and I was like, hey, I don't mean to bother you, bro, but like, I haven't seen someone with an iPod. He goes, yeah, man. He goes, they're not that hard to fix. And honestly, I can just keep all my music right here on this. And he said, like, oh yeah, but I have it all ripped to CDs at my house and everything. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, dude, like it costs so much less to learn how to fix the shit than to buy the new thing when planned obsolescence comes through. And I'm like, that's a smart fucking kid. Okay. But I see more of that because people are getting tired of being chained, you know what I mean? In that kind of way, even potentially.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Oh no, I have two more questions. One, how do you explain to heavy religious people what magic is?
Spiritual technology. You pray, does it work? This is another thing you can contact. Whatever your deity is one of many existent spiritual forces that can be called down in a certain way. Magic is just more efficient spiritual technology that works more often.
I like it. I like it a lot. If you have to give all the listeners, because I'll upload this one tomorrow, so that'll be January 8th. One thing to do every fucking day for their spiritual evolvement, what is it?
Rotate an apple in your head for 5 minutes. I shit you not, everything in your life will become better, easier, faster, and stronger if you just rotate the image of an apple in your head for 5 minutes every day.
Do you want to elaborate why that is, or just are we keeping it like this?
Honestly, I could. So your imagination, your visualization is a way you can connect with the spiritual world. Like people will tell you active visualization is great for athletes. There's too much sports science that proves this is true to be a lie. But if you actually talk to an athlete about how they learned it, their coach would tell them to start with small objects or small things. So if you rotate the apple, you practice active visualization every single day for 5 minutes, you get good at it. And then your memory gets better, your IQ goes up, your ability to hold your focus gets better, especially in an era of screens and screen time and dopamine addiction. This is like lifting weights for your brain and your soul. And then if you do need to do active visualization for achieving a goal, you'll find it to be so much crisper, more detailed. You'll be able to live in that visualization more. And it works. So yeah, rotate the fucking apple every day. 5 minutes.
Yes. So good. By the way, I as a student of yours, and I will have to pick back up this year. That's all on me. I apologize for that, for slacking. That's really fucking real. One of the exercises, the 20 object things you want, right? Like, I remember when we started it 2 years ago, and I would envision, because I wanted a big fucking dually.
Hmm.
But I wanted it American flag wrapped, right?
Mhm.
But every time I have my list, I first look at the list, what was it, and then I conjure up the image. It would be a gray truck, and I'm like, yo. And of course, then one day Viking comes home. He's like, "Oh, I bought a new truck. It's gray." And I'm like, now at least that makes sense.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Because I was so annoyed. I'm like, why can I not just force that image into the American flag?
Well, sometimes your psychic ability just puts out like what is probably going to happen. It's a combination of manifestation and divination at that point.
Right. That makes sense. Because I was like, what the hell? I don't fucking want a gray truck. Get the fuck out of my mind. Goosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I like trying to really force it really hard. And then the next time I would get in the flow, boom, there's the gray truck. I'm like, y'all need to fucking stop with this shit. Like, to an annoyance. Right. And then again, husband was like, oh, I bought a new truck, by the way. And it was exactly that one. So yeah. Fucking winner, friend. In 2 weeks again?
Oh yeah, no, I'm here for it.
Same time, same day? Is that what am
Oh yeah, no, we can do same time, same day in 2 weeks.
Oh, I have class. How can you do Monday the 26th, same time? How's that?
Let me check my calendar. Monday the 26th. Yeah, we can do that.
11. So that's 2 p.m. your time.
Yeah, that works.
Done and done. Sent. Okay. Everyone, your professional sorcerer for hire as a teacher, Alexander Moore. By the way, this is I keep telling everyone, you should not neglect the spiritual side of yourself, just like you're not neglecting your mind, just like you're not neglecting your body. That's the mundane. You need to actively take care and evolve your spirituality in whichever shape or form that looks. This is your fucking guy. If you are not ready to have your ancestors and the gods come down and be like, we want you to succeed even more than you do, our little child, do not come to him. He's the guy that you go to when you're like, I want the world to have me succeed even more than I want it for myself. That's what you do with this guy. So
That's true.
winners only. I'll put all the links everywhere, and yeah, see you in 2 weeks.